How can if I did it? A show where we analyze and solve PR kerfuffles from MMA world, not beyond. I'm your host, Lex the Old, author, 7 Secret Sources of Inspiration, a snappy guide for creative procrastinators.
Oh, that's neat.
One little technical snafu, everybody jumps my shit.
There you go. Joining me as always, Kid Named Bloody Elbow, and of the Let It Roll podcast, as well as Eugene S. Robinson from Aussie.com and author of Fight Everything You Ever Want to Know Asking or Afraid to Get Your Ass Kicked for Asking, collectively, and make Pancholes.
Pancholes!
Eugene, you're the UFC.
No, he's not. He's not. He's Eugene. Okay.
He's not. He's Tommy Wiseau. Tommy Wiseau.
You tear me apart.
Okay.
How does the WWE's $1 billion Smackdown deal, live and in public, if you will, impact your TV deal?
So they got $1 billion. That's not much. A few years ago, we got bought for $4.2 billion. Now that's a real number. $1 billion. Now, what does that mean? Okay, it's $250 million a year. Big deal. Big deal with the fake fucking wrestling. I don't have anything to worry about. I'm the UFC. I've got big stars like then there's
Stipe.
I got Stipe. Right, everybody knows Stipe. I don't give a fuck what happens across the fake wrestling side of the street because I have a solid business model and I'm expanding into boxing and I'm going to do as good of a job with boxing as I've done with MMA. You'll see. Or if I'm the bald one, I'm like, what? Well, hold on. I'm in the middle of a game of Frogger. Can I get back to you on that? That's it. That's my 2 takes from either side of the pen. If I'm the UFC.
Man, how about you, Nate?
Yeah, I mean, I think Eugene pretty well covered it because clearly Fox is going to be riding the SmackDown horse, and this changes the whole WWE game because SmackDown used to be the B channel. Now that's going to be the big. Supposedly, according to Dave Meltzer, the budget for SmackDown is going to be way bigger than what they've had for Raw previously. So that's going to change the gravity of it. And then they're going to jack the USA Network for Raw. And that leaves the UFC. They jacked ESPN, and supposedly the rumors or the reports are they're going to get about what they got before from Fox. Like none of this quintupling or quadrupling or tripling or doubling they've been talking, just standing pat. But they did get the ESPN deal, so they could double it or triple it, their total TV revenue. But yeah, I mean, they're going to be the redheaded stepchild. It's the whole cable odyssey of the UFC going from Spike, now the Paramount channel, where they were the star, the big fish in the small pond, and everybody knew what channel's UFC on. It's on Spike. I want to watch some UFC. I'll turn on Spike. Oh, they got UFC Live. They got UFC reruns. They got UFC shoulder programming. They got Tough. It's all on Spike, and it's there. With Fox, you're like, where is it? Is it on Fuel TV? Is it on FX? Is it on FS1? Is it on Big Fox? You couldn't keep up with it. FS1 would, air 7-8 hour marathons of crappy UFCs. And, here we are.
And they also preempt too, right? So even
yeah,
if you know what channel to watch, it's like, the fuck is race car driving doing on this? Where's my UFC?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, FS2. Oh, shit. But I DVR'd that shit, so I guess I won't be seeing it.
Yeah, and I don't have FS2 anyway, And then, so it's just, it's become much harder to see. The ESPN deal will be good for cash, and the ace in the hole is that hopefully they'll get better coverage on ESPN, that they'll get most favored nation status, and they'll be interviewing UFC fighters on SportsCenter. They'll be covering it like it's major sports. They'll be talking it up in advance of their events, as well as pushing the pay-per-views. But it could be that they'll be the next poker or rodeo. I mean, that's just one of these niche sports that ESPN puts on the air but never promotes, you know. So I don't know. I know around my company, the bosses seem much more interested in WWE these days than they do in the UFC. So
Damn.
Yep.
I mean, it kind of blows my mind in a very certain specific way. It's like, you know, I watched fucking fake wrestling when I was like 10 and 11, right? Then I lost interest, and I went back for a little bit when I was 20, 21. But because it was like a postmodern.
So when you were 2021, that would have been like what, the Terry Funk, Harley Race epic early 70s battles?
No, that would have been
late
Baron,
60s Nick
that would
Bockwinkel?
have been Baron von Reschke, the Iron Sheik's heyday. Yeah, that's all the people need to know. Right. And you
Bob
know,
Backlund?
yeah, exactly. So it was around that time. So but then after, you know, the postmodern thing and getting into fist fights in the stands and do whatever kind of postmodern amusements I might have drawn from it, I moved on. Who is still watching this? Okay, I'll even allow, like, if you listen to country music, okay, and for me, country music sort of died with George Jones, but okay, you want to go beyond George Jones? Okay, I'll accept Randy Travis. You want to go beyond Ravi Travis? Okay, I'll accept fucking Chris Gaines. Oh, I'm sorry, Garth Brooks. I'll accept him, but I'm not going to accept Brad Paisley. I gotta fucking draw the line. So I understand going up through The Rock. I understand Kane and The Undertaker and these types, but what the fuck are you doing in 2018 still watching this shit? You guys tried to make me watch that fucking Ronda thing. Who the fuck is watching this? Is it some sort of mass delusion? So why not have the UFC? You know, you have it, you ignore it, whatever. If it does something, if they generate it, then you got it. It's in your pocket. You own it. You got to show something. Why not? But I mean, is that your business model is premised on why not? The fuck out of here. If I'm the UFC, I mean, at this point, I made the bed. Now I will lie in the bed. That's it.
And the bet is lined with money if you're one of the top execs, so how hard can it be?
That's what I'm saying. It's a perfect place to play Frogger.
I just wonder just how exclusive that deal is with ESPN in terms of the events. Because if it's as simple, I mean, if you look at WWE, like they had Raw and SmackDown, which were established shows, right? Whereas for the ESPN Plus deal, it's like, oh, we're going to create some cards for you. So what's to stop them from going back and signing with another network and saying, oh yeah, well, we got 5 cards for you too. Oh, 10 cards, you know, like.
And this is like the cocaine dealer that's already been peddling such garbage, the kind of cocaine that melts if you leave it out, you know, or
I don't know what you're talking about.
Or you do a few lines and then your entire nose is one big scab. I mean, you know, is this Ajax or Comet? And now we're going to be stomping on it even more. I mean, yeah, their product is so watered down at this point. I can't believe they think they can water it down.
But I'm sure that you have buyers out. If you think about it, right? You just went back to the Spike example. You look at individuals that are trying to get some kind of eyeballs onto their product. I think there's so many cable channels out there that are trying to garner some kind of eyeballs to their content. I would not be now. Look, if there's a certain degree of exclusivity, or if there were if they had a situation, I don't even know what kind of fights or fighters. What in terms for ESPN Plus? Like, I don't know if there's a cap necessarily on whether or not the UFC go back to the well and go to another network and say, yeah, we're going to give you 5 cards this in a year. Oh,
my
we're going to
understanding
give you 10
is
cards,
that the UFC sold ESPN these shows and they can sell other shows.
Right. So at the end of the day, I mean, the point is,
I don't know if there's a streaming exclusivity though. I think my guess is that they can sell to Fox or they could sell to, you know, NBC. There's not really any other TV channels, but I would be pretty surprised if ESPN would be cool if they suddenly pop up on Hulu or Amazon or Netflix. You know, I think my guess is that it's a streaming exclusive other than Fight Pass, but I could be wrong about that.
And really, realistically, I mean, we're talking about fancy suits and mink coats and top hats like the emperor is wearing any of those things. The reality is emperor is not wearing any of those things. You know how many cares I had on the last UFC? One. You know how many John Nash had? And he's way more accommodating than I am. Three.
Wow.
And that was a bad card too.
Yeah, I didn't even see one fight in its entirety. I think I fast forwarded most of that shit.
I know people who watched the whole thing and said the first fight on the early prelim, that was a great one. And then I mean, come on, man. I'm spending my whole life doing this, waiting for fucking masters of industry to decide something one way or the other so I could have a good fucking time. Forget it. I got better ways to have a good time, you know?
Man, I got some great crack from that guy at the red light. Oh, no, the first guy at the red light. The second
right,
guy.
yeah.
Speaking about watered down products, Nate, you're Bellator. Should you be in the Chuck Liddell business? If so, how do you maximize it?
Hell yeah, you should be in the Chuck Liddell business. You book him against Tito and let him talk some shit and, you know, see what happens. I mean, they don't have to pay him like old school Chuck Liddell money. It's a no-brainer. I don't know why they're getting uppity. I mean, it reminds me of, remember when Phil Spector first went to prison before his bodyguard broke his jaw? His prison bodyguard. And word was that Charles Manson sent him some tapes and a note and said, "Hey, man, love your work. Hope we can work together." And Phil got all like, "I'm an A-list celebrity and you're a terrible, evil serial killer." And it's like, no, Phil,
bro.
You're a convicted killer, dude. You're in prison.
Yep.
Charlie is now A-list celebrity.
Right.
You know, like.
That's as close as you're getting.
Yeah. And you know, so. Yeah, I mean, I don't know where they're suddenly getting, you know, unless it's just a negotiating tactic because they don't want to pay.
Oh, I want to clarify. Your once a long ago, you said that Ted Bundy was running the prison. In actual fact, he had been gang raped in prison. So,
and the Florida,
he'd been run on in prison. That's what he said.
He said what?
He'd been run on in prison. That's what he
said. Yes.
What's your source for this? What's your source for this?
Everything.
Everybody. Everybody.
When you're one with the
legion of friends you have from Florida death row in the 80s, everybody is dead now.
Yeah. Well, I don't. At some time during his prison sojourn, the party had a railroad motif.
Well, you know, that doesn't mean he didn't run his death row cell block
before, after, or during he was being gang raped.
I mean, he was transferred to a lot of facilities. Who knows?
Okay. And I think the party had a theme in all of them, perhaps.
But I read mine in print. I'd like to see some sources.
Yeah, okay. All right. Yeah. All right.
So,
Dissing Ted Bundy.
What's your take, Bellator Eugene, with regard to the Chuck Liddell business? Should you be in it?
Well, you know, I mean, Chuck is talking himself up. You know, I mean, I don't think that well, it's not a question. I think he'll beat Tito again. So I think he beats Tito, and all of a sudden he becomes a hot property, and he gets back in the UFC and gets a shot at Johnny Boney Jr. I don't think the bald one is crazy in a lot of ways, but he's not crazy in that way. You don't want to see an old man get hurt. Believe me, I don't want to see an old man get hurt. You know, so but you know, what is that thing about lemons and lemonade? You know, I think the Bellator.
Wasn't it something about showers and gold or?
yeah. Well, I mean, Bellator does a good job of. It's doing a good B job, and you know.
A good B job.
Yeah. Like what?
Exactly right.
Yeah.
You know, you look at the cards. The heavyweight Grand Prix is working. You know, Bader, King Mo, that was a decent fight, you know.
And good ratings.
Yep, good ratings. And I mean, it's a serviceable, I mean, in actual fact, given the black eyes that the UFC has delivered to the sport, I don't, we can make the claim that the UFC is a marquee, but on average, these guys are touching each other. You know, but what I mean is, the average, this Chile fight, was that better, the same as, or worse than the average fucking Bellator fight.
It was worse.
Yeah, at this point, it's worse. So when I say on average, these guys are neck and neck. People go, "Oh, you're crazy." You're crazy. No, not really, man. Not really. Too many more. And then the weekend before with was it Pennington and Nunes? What were the numbers on that? You know, compared to the average Bellator at this point. I'm geeked to see Musasi fight again. You know, Rafael Caravala. So I mean,
and you got to assume Yair will be over there.
Yeah. And
what
Yair will be over there. And what yeah, exactly right. And then also on the undercard, what the Bellator does is it brings in, I know this because I got, cats I know fighting. It brings in a lot of local guys on undercards. And as soon as you know it's a local guy on the undercard against some guy from, say, Sacramento, the guy from Sacramento is going to lose. You don't even have to fucking look, So Bellator has got a formula, but the formula works for Bellator. So, and the formula works. It's a reliable quality, and I got no surprises. It's a no surprise theory with Bellator. I know what I'm getting, and I get what I'm getting. What I know. That's it. With the UFC, you cannot say that at all. So
well, one thing,
what the hell? Make hay while the sun is up. Deal with Chuck what Chuck wants to fight, and I'm sure he's not like this. Once again, concept I pitched like 4 years ago. MMAARP. Why not? Why not?
Well, a minute ago, been a smooth transition, but Eugene, speaking of unpredictability of the UFC, let's step back. And I can't say step back in those shoes. This is a different show. Let's say you just step back and become the UFC once again. Because when we're dealing with unpredictability, things that are not what you think they should be. Should Mackenzie Dern be ranked in a weight class she couldn't make?
Well, now I've finally been able to talk about who the UFC star who I wrote about, and that was Angela Hill. And having interviewed her for way longer, I mean, Aussie pieces tend to be pretty short, so it was like a 900-word piece. So I interviewed her, but I interviewed her for probably about 40 minutes. So I got a lot more stuff than I could put in the interview. And like James Brown, this is like one of the harder working women in MMA, and she is pushing fights. She's on the hustle, trying to get in there. She's paying attention to who's injured, who's not. She's suggesting that she's willing to go up and move around and wait. And her actual win-loss record is sort of reflective of the way it used to be in the UFC, where guys are just like, "Fuck it, yeah, I'll fight. Fuck it." You look at Randy Couture's record, or it's not like these guys who are carefully stage managed, where they've got 26-1, where they're picking their fights very carefully. No, they just fuck it, man. I want to check it out. I want to see what I could do. Angela Hill, so ride or die. She's ready to ride. And so to get her there and finally breaks top 15, and keep in mind this is a person who's undefeated as a kickboxer, so it's still transitional like a Czech Congo, but and to have Mackenzie Dern, who likes to hang out on the beach, doesn't really like to train, has lost a team to get another
doesn't
team.
Really like her real accent.
Yeah, which is a funny, crazy fucking accent thing. And then to put her there at 15, I mean, you have one job if you're the UFC, and you failed miserably at that, but you always surprise me by exceeding yourself before. And that one thing is what? Treat the fighters well. And just when I think you can't treat them any worse, you show me, you show me up. I don't know what to tell you. It's disconcerting. I don't really like it. I'd like to see. I mean, what are you saying to the other fighters?
Eat.
Yep.
Eat peanuts. Eat shit. What are they saying?
That's what they're saying, man. They're saying eat it.
Eat poop.
We'll do what we want, and you don't like it. Tough titty.
Suck on this.
Yep.
To quote New York Times pundit Tom Friedman.
Yep.
So what about you, Nate?
What was the question?
Should Mackenzie Dern be ranked in a weight class she couldn't make if you're the UFC?
The thing is, the UFC rankings are a joke.
And they've proven this now.
Yeah, they've proven it time and time again. And so who cares? I mean, they don't care. They don't care about their titles. They don't care about their rankings. You know, I mean, once upon a time, it seemed like the Fertitta brothers had this maniacal vision of, I want all the best fighters in my organization.
When like Pokemon and shit.
Yeah, when they're letting Yair Rodriguez go, you know, and like Ryan Bader, if you look at the shitty light heavyweight division, Ryan Bader would easily be top 3, if not top 2, right now. And with Cormier walking, I think Bader has a chance against Gustafsson. He could potentially be light heavyweight champ. I mean, I was never the biggest Ryan Bader fan, but he looked sharp against King Mo, which might say more about King Mo's age than anything else. But, you know, they're not keeping their eye on the ball. They're pissing themselves.
Damn.
They're choking on their own vomit. It's Jimi Hendrix. It's tragic.
Yep.
But is it the heel turn?
It is the heel turn. You know, my heel turn this week is the most dangerous man in Beijing. Like, the UFC's been trying to break in to the Chinese market and failing. But the grassroots Chinese MMA people are doing more to fuck it up than the UFC managed to do. So, like, this week, Tim Bissell's reporting a Bloody Elbow about this massive manhunt that was like a huge viral video thing in China where some dude who's, you know, like, what's his name? Ma something. Dude's name is Ma.
Ma Dukes.
Yeah, Ma Dukes. Beats up a guy in a road rage incident. It's caught on video, goes viral. There's a huge manhunt. The Chinese authorities even claimed that they had brought in a professional boxer to help corral this guy because his street fighting prowess was so deadly. And I don't even know if this Ma dude is even a legit Ma Chi-Ru is even a real MMA fighter, but the Chinese media and the Chinese government think he is, or they're convincing people he is. And then this is on top of a years-long feud that's been going on where Mad Dog Zhu Zedong has been beating up these Wing Chun guys, which makes for a great video and everything. But
the fact that the Wing Chun guys keep taking the fights is mind-blowing to me, but whatever.
You know, if you've seen your chi work, Eugene, I don't know about you've probably never thrown an effective chi bomb, but when you've seen it level the whole class and you know it works, you've got confidence in your chi, man. I mean, you know, it's like if you're Iron Fist and you see the smoke coming off that right hand, you know it's working, and so they believe in their chi. What can I say? But yeah, it's so that's the heel turn. The grassroots MMA fighters who are just beating up too many Chinese people. Settle down, guys. Keep it in the cage. Let's keep it legal. No need to bring orphans over from Tibet and, you know, in slave camp situations. Just try to follow the rules and be good citizens.
There you go.
Are there good citizens in the Lost Battalion this week, Eugene?
Look, you know what? There's no showstopper this week because I was
bummed.
I was in Dusseldorf, and then we got fucked with immigration coming back in. So I expected to be back in at 4:00, and then we got kept there for 3 extra hours because the wife is a foreign national. So, you know, she's got a green card. They just have to like exercise the fucking aggressive hand of ICE. So, so by the time I got back here, it was like. I saw the kids and so on. It was like 9:00, and I couldn't keep my eyes open, kind of like now. But but Lost Battalion, I have a very specific Lost Battalion, and typically we have talked about this before. We've talked about the Lost Battalion alert, and we talked about a story that started and then had a little legs, then it went away, and they came back again. And that's the Colby Crappington. I keep in shape by banging chicks at orgies, and all the women photographed in it have systematically one by one unloaded on him in the Twitterverse. Like, first of all, we didn't know they pulled a "who the fuck is that guy" thing, you know, and then they pulled that guy. We wouldn't let that guy touch us, and they waited. The timing is so perfect because they waited. He could have pulled back at any given point and said, I was joking. But when he didn't get any pushback from the girls, he figures, I got a clear lane here. I'm going to fuck it. I'm going to ride with it. It's part of myth making. I'm going to talk my way into a career like I already have. But you don't understand, man. There's interest and there's morbid fascination. One pays, other fucking doesn't. Nobody is watching you because they like you. There's a big difference between you and McNuggets. People actually like McNuggets because McNuggets is somewhat likable. You, sir, however, are not likable. You are not. Maybe your mother likes you, but I'd have to get a second opinion on that before I'm willing to fucking believe it. Reality of it is, you've talked yourself into some notoriety. We're talking about you, but you haven't done shit in the cage. How long of a shelf life do you think you have if your next fight, even if you win your next fight and it's anything other than fucking amazing? Your shelf life is fucking minutes, my friend. And
you don't think he's always going to have an audience that wants to see him get brutalized?
Oh, really? More or less of an audience than Yair Rodriguez, who they just fucking let go, right? More or less of an audience. I mean, this guy is like, if he doesn't hear the alarm going, he's out of his mind. You know, or maybe he does hear the alarm going, and this is his way to save it. Saying he banged a bunch of women who consented to some whack-ass selfie with him. That really works, huh? That's gonna work. So he's in, because not because he's in, but because he doesn't see that in short order he will be in, and that's enough to get him in.
Thanks for joining us. Follow us on Twitter, Eugene S. Robinson, Lexi Old, Kid Nate, Facebook at MMA Puncholis. Please give us a thumbs up, Eugene.
Thumbs up. Thumbs up.
Leave comments on YouTube. Subscribe to MMANation.com on YouTube and MMA Nation on iTunes. Visit Bloody Elbow. Buy Severin Secret Source Inspiration. Box Post Thin Black Duke and Boone Wells.
The easy way out.
Easy way out.
Spotify, iTunes, Total, wherever you want it.
A lot of easy way outs for you to get it. Listen to Let It Roll podcast. Immediately follow the show. Be sure to check out If the Shoes Fit. How do they do that, Eugene?
They go right below. Right below, if Kid Native's done it right, there's a link. You click on it, you click back into the other show, and it all happened immediately or within 90 seconds, depending on how slow my computer is.
That's right. We'll be back next week with another installment, If I Did It. And we don't know what we're going to be talking about because of pure mistakes.
Tomorrow morning with Care Don't Care. Sorry.
No!
Eugene and John Nash are going to be bringing it.
Oh, fucking Nate! Once again, the guy, he's becoming like fucking Silas Legree
My
here.
compost pile needs a turning. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Your compo. There you go. Okay.
Tune in next week. We don't know what we're going to talk about yet because the pure mistakes have yet to be made.